Wait, did we just get a side episode in the Owl House Season 2? Any sport in a storm sure seems like one. Sure, some characters got important moments, especially Hunter, but overall it was just a fun time and at least didn't overload my brain with lore like most other Season 2 episodes. Wait, did I just say Hunter? I thought this was supposed to be a Willow-focused episode. Huh. Hunter is by far my favorite character in the show though, so it was great to see him again, also with his classic comedic and charming moments. Besides that, it's fun how they play with him doing the right and wrong thing each episode. They focus on him, and not Willow. In Hunting Palisman the right thing was to put that amazing Hunter wordplay in the episode title. And he also saved some Palisman or whatever. In Eclipse Lake he kicked Amity and had a mental breakdown. In this episode however, he saved some Palisman. Wait a second, I'm starting to see a pattern here. It also seems like they're pulling a reverse Zuko on Hunter right now, by giving him his adventures with the main characters, before he joins the protagonists. And while I already did in the other episodes too, I felt really bad for him here, because he actually got along with the group really well. If you think about it, he didn't even really have that many bonding moments with them, thus it's all the more impressive that their friendship is conveyed so well and realistic. I'm also kinda blown away by how great they handled Darius in this episode. In Edis Requiem he was a jerk. Here he was also a jerk, except for the last 10 seconds. No, but seriously, it was a great twist that Darius is actually a pretty great dude and not that loyal to Belos either. And you could even say it wasn't even a twist, because it was so greatly set up and teased in his 2 appearances. I mean, it was subtle enough to not ruin the moment, while also making the shift in personality not seem uncharacteristic and random. I do find it peculiar that Darius is getting spotlight again though, while there's still 4 Coven heads left unexplored. I do have a theory about why this is the case though. Because Abominations is Amity's whole thing, and being gay also, so Odalia wants her to join a Coven and maybe even become a Coven leader. An interesting thing in reaching out is that Alador only specifically mentions talking to Odalia about Amity's hair color, and not about allowing Amity to follow her own path. So is he still steadfast about Amity becoming a Coven leader? If they ever develop this storyline further, establishing Darius' character enough might be important for that storyline to work, because he's the current Abomination Coven head. After this episode it also seems that he wouldn't have a problem dipping out of being a Coven head, which means that chance would pop up for Amity. If Odalia remains steadfast, which she probably will, this could lead to some interesting conflict between Amity, Alador, and Odalia, including some character and relation development. Darius might also be actively thrown in the mix, as he and Alador don't seem to like each other. Darius makes this very clear, but the mutual feeling is more subtle. In Reaching Out, when Alador picks Darius' book out of a box, he looks with distaste and shortly after lets the Abomination cut it to pieces. I had a whole theory about them being friends but having a fallout, but then I saw Darius booing Alador in the photo when they were kids, so never mind. I think the fact that Alador makes Abomination soldiers and Darius lets himself be the Abomination soldier is still kinda interesting though. Darius does the latter in Edis Requiem, but also in Any Storm, where he covers his arm in goo to form a weapon. But yeah, it was also nice to see some side characters get spotlight again. I already mentioned Darius, but Steve from Minecraft, Bozja, Skara, Homunculus, Tibbles, Tiny Nose or Tinalanosa, and Matholomule also get some spotlight. And the cat, who I just learned is named Barkus. Wait, don't dogs bark? Looks again. Oh, he's a dog, makes sense. What makes less sense is why Amity and Luce even have a side story in this episode. Okay, that's an overstatement, but Reaching Out has a lot of great Lumity moments and quite some focus on their relationship, except it got a lot realer. So I guess it was nice for them to get an adventure in their relationship with lower stakes, but it still feels kinda unnecessary in my opinion. By the way, Did you know that Willow and Gus are also in this episode? You have to look really closely though. So yeah, if it's between giving Lumity even more time, or giving Willow and Gus, who already have less screen time, some more spotlight, I'd choose the latter. I also feel like it's a pretty common complaint in the community that they don't do much often. I guess Gus got his episode in season 2 already, although giving him another one wouldn't hurt. But this episode seemed like a more Willow-focused episode, and even though they played a bit with her emotions and struggles here, and showed very well how she has evolved over the show, in the end she didn't really have a meaningful arc in the episode. Hunter really took the main spotlight in this episode, and kind of fair as he was also clearly mentioned in the episode synopsis. It was surprising to me that Darius also got bigger moments than Willow in this episode though. At least in my opinion. So in that regard I feel like they should have maybe scrapped the Lumity plotline, even though I actually think the mystery they set up made sense and is quite clever. And besides that, it feels like a very well doorway and setup for the more heavy Lumity moments in Reaching Out. It just feels like Willow deserved some major spotlight, whereas Amity is generally just appearing more and also has a more important role to play when she appears. Which also makes sense, but doesn't Willow also deserve some time to shine this season? Well, I guess I'll let you be the judge of that. Bye! Well, I actually still have a whole other episode to talk about. But first I found a nice detail in any sport in a storm. At the start every Coven head walks straight past Hunter and ignores him, but Raine looks back. Maybe they feel bad for Hunter, just like him, or are just generally a nice person, as established in Edis Requiem. Or all of those. Tara moves Raine along though, but it indicates that they're still in there under the brainwashing and not a bad person or completely on Belos' side because of it. It's also funny how everyone thought that sad Lumity moment would be about their relationship ending or would be some impactful important moment, and it was pretty much not that. I also literally have no idea what the episode title means and refers to, so let me know, I guess? Please, reach out, to the comments. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna talk about Reaching Out now. Overall I think it's a really great episode, but not one of my favorites of the season. Most of the stuff before Alador comes to ruin Amity's fun felt kinda generic to me. I feel like the episode setup was similar to how other episodes have started, while entering the Bonesborough Brawl wasn't as grand as I thought it would be. The fights themselves and the use of magic in them, also don't feel very innovative, unlike in previous episodes. Overall there's just more fun and memorable segments in the show, than most of this episode. The payoff for everything was huge though, with Luz revealing a very unexpected truth, Amity coming out to Alador, hopefully also starting a better bond with him, and also some gossip about the Day of Unity. Luz talking about her dad and Amity talking to her dad, might be two of the most memorable moments in this entire show thus far though, so the ending of the episode definitely makes somewhat up for the rest. And yes, I did really enjoy the Edric side plot and liked the additional spotlight on his character. It also showed that Amity maybe isn't the only one being poorly parented in the Blight family. Edric, for example, would feel much better when he would have a more supportive parent like Ida, instead of strict ones like Odalia and Alador. Besides that, it might also be their parents' will that Edric and Amira hide their true appearances with amulets. Oh, and yeah, this actually was a cool unique new use of magic. I find Alador's portrayal also very great. He's more likable than Odalia, but still stands by while Odalia is being abusive. This is such a realistic portrayal, as there's parents like them in real life. But also in other situations, like bullying at school for example, there's bystanders, who don't actively participate in doing the wrong thing, but also take no action against it. And I feel like it's also a pretty unique thing to shine light on, especially in a cartoon. What I do feel like might not feel very unique if they do it more often, is loose behavior to pretend like nothing is wrong to everyone, while something is clearly wrong. I personally just find it a little cliché to look at, even though it still worked pretty great here. In Follies at the Coven Day Parade, she did the same thing, being all sweaty and awkward about why she wanted to help Kikimora. Compared to reaching out, the stakes were lower in that episode, thus it works as a setup and foreshadowing for reaching out. The same goes for Luce lying to Amity, which was also rehashed from Coven Day Parade, but with higher stakes. If they keep doing this in future episodes, I think it'll get old though, especially because I don't think you can really top the stakes and payoff of reaching out. But if they can prove me wrong, I guess I'm down for that. One thing Luce's story does here for sure though, is create more sympathy for her mom, as the death of Luce's father might explain some of Camila's behavior. She wants to hold on extra tight to Luce, because she already lost a loved one once and she doesn't want it to happen again. That's maybe also why she doesn't want Luce to be weird, because she doesn't understand any of it and is afraid she might get out of touch with her eventually and have no control over it. Related to that, she might have a hard time as a single mom, thus Luce got into all of this weird stuff that she didn't want her to get into and might also feel a bit guilty about that, because she feels like she failed as a mother, as she thinks Luce is off onto the wrong track so to speak. She might also specifically feel like she has failed Luce's father, as he might have not approved however she parents and things are going with Luce right now. This guilt and feeling got stronger after she discovered Luce was in a dangerous demon realm and might have left because of her parenting. Again, a unique insight into real life, with a great amount of realism. Both of these episodes are great, but whereas Any Sport in a Storm is one of my favorites of the season, Reaching Out is not. Still a really great episode though, with two of the most memorable moments of the show. Insert very long theory about Belos' true plan that I'll hopefully cover in another video soon. Like, subscribe. Maybe.
Bye!
For real this time.